Hi everyone, thanks for coming and spending time to hear about the BluGlass story. So I'm the Executive Chair, CFO Sam is also in the room. You can come and see us after the event. We're in a booth over in the corner. For some reason I've started right at the back, so let me take you forward. Let's take you to the beginning. So BluGlass, we are a gallium nitride laser company. We are listed on the ASX. Current market cap is about $40 million. And what we do with our long history in working in gallium nitride, our unique IP in the semiconductor space, we've used both those gallium nitride and our IP to develop gallium nitride lasers. And if you think about lasers and why this screen is up, we focus on producing lasers in these wavelengths. Wavelengths mean colors. And because of the colors and the wavelengths, we have some fairly unique applications when it comes to defense applications, medical and biotech research, quantum sensing and quantum computing, and I'll talk a little bit about more as we develop. But for people who are involved in manufacturing or high tech, lasers are used in almost every aspect of our life today, from the welding that goes into your phone, 3D printing, robotics, LiDAR, quantum computing. Lasers are a fundamental part of everything we do today, and gallium nitride is the fastest growing laser diode sector in that entire market, and I'll spend a bit more time talking about that today. We are Australian headquartered. Our history is we spun out of university in Sydney, and with our IP, and particularly in the semiconductor space, that led to us becoming a laser company just over about 4 years ago. And with the move to be making laser diode products, that allowed us to refocus the company, where we now have most of our resources and most of our manufacturing facilities actually in the US. So Australian headquarters, half the team is now in the US. Our CEO is based in the US, and our downstream processing and manufacturing part is in Fremont, California. This is a significant commercial advantage for BluGlass, as being the only in-country manufacturer of gallium nitride lasers. And as the world has changed over the last 3 months, being an in-country manufacturer of lasers in the US has opened up some great opportunities for us. With that has led to BluGlass being our most financially successful year was the last financial year. We've been able to win some significant revenue contracts for us, so much so that our revenue this year will be about $12 million. That is a combination of product sales, so we do have product in market, and those product sales are growing. But where most of our revenue comes from today are these product development contracts. So large companies, including the Department of Defense in the US, are paying us annual sums to develop actual products, lasers that they need for their applications. So we're a combination of product sales as well as these lumpy product development contracts. And you'll see that move as we continue to advance. So they're a summary of our significant contracts over the last 12 to 18 months. That first contract with the Department of Defense is a 5-year program. We're 2 years into that program. That was our second year contribution from the Department of Defense, and we expect that program to continue over the next 3 years. As I said, we're focused on some fairly significant markets. Lasers have an application in all these areas. No surprising, lasers are growing fast, particularly in quantum sensing and quantum computing, and we're getting a lot of interest in that space. And I'll talk a little bit more about that as we go through. And here are some of the applications where lasers have some unique applications. What we're finding in talking to our customers in things like underwater communications and space communications, our particular wavelengths have some technical advantages over the existing way that is done. So quantum computing, quantum sensing based on gallium nitride lasers. The gallium means we can produce in those particular wavelengths, which have some technical features over existing lasers. So we're not just replacing traditional infrared lasers, but we're also opening up new applications. A great example, as I said, is underwater communications. And another great example where we're starting to be built into products as they're being developed is in the quantum sensing space. Quantum sensing, if you think about LiDAR, is a great example of quantum sensing. Another area is all the work that is going into replacing GPS. You've probably heard recently of examples where GPS has been jammed, which has made air traffic, air flight actually quite difficult, and in some cases stopped. There are companies working on a replacement for GPS, and lasers will play a key part of that new technology, and we're being involved in those applications right now. And I think the way to think about it is in the quantum computing, quantum sensing space, you're looking for lasers that are very fine-tunable. They have to actually turn on molecules at a very particular wavelength at a very particular time to get the outcome that you're looking for. And one of the applications for quantum, for GaN lasers is that they can be actually very fine-tunable to the molecules that they want. So we're getting some interest from the quantum computing space where they're actually looking for these applications and they're looking for lasers to turn them on. The way they're doing it at the moment is they're using infrared lasers. Infrared lasers can get down to these wavelengths, but there are lots of technical features, lots of power consumption to get down to that area, which makes them bulky. That will slow down the development of quantum. But with our particular lasers, because we can be so fine-tunable, therefore smaller actual products being used, we can see that fast-tracking the applications. Healthcare is another area where we're getting interest in terms of our laser applications. And it's a growing market and quite fast, but I think you'll see from our future revenue stream will mainly come from defence and the quantum space, with a little bit of work in the healthcare area. Here is an example of some of the customers and some of the players in our industry. You may have heard of Coherent. Coherent is one of the largest laser companies in the world. They do not have gallium nitride capability. There are only 5 gallium nitride laser diode manufacturers in the world. Working with gallium is hard. And because of our long history, we're one of those 5 manufacturers. And we're working with some of these companies on actually putting our gallium nitride lasers into their existing laser units. Here is a list of our competitors. The 2 big gorillas in the room are Osram and Nichia. Osram's a German lighting company, also a laser company. Nichia is a Japanese version. When we were researching the market, what the customers were telling us in this space was they're not getting the flexibility of the wavelengths or the packaging. So if you wanted a 488 laser, you went straight to Osram and Nichia, and because that was their standard product. If you wanted a 492 or a 496, good luck, right? So we've deliberately positioned ourselves as the nimble third supplier in this space, and that is getting us a lot of interest and a lot of customer discussions because of that. Here is an example of our typical sort of workflow, our commercialization strategy. So, and this is an example of the Department of Defence contract that we currently have. Start off with a concept of a project, then work out who the partners are, develop up a product development roadmap, and then signing a commercial agreement, which then leads we create that actual product for them and then turn into a product supply agreement. You will see that we've done a couple of those contracts, and that's where we see the short-term revenue growth coming from, in addition to the existing product sales. So in summary, BluGlass is well positioned technically. We are one of 5 manufacturers in this space, the only in-country manufacturer in the US, which has opened up commercial opportunities for us, including the contracts that we've just won in the last 12 to 18 months. Got a great relationship with the Department of Defence in terms of developing products and then paying for product applications for us. Significant growth over the last 18 months, 2 years. And from an investor point of view, you will continue to see those type of contracts being signed as we move to profitability and become a sustainable company. So thanks everyone for your time.